So the same thing with sex. We have to see if we have to have sex to see if we're sexually compatible. We can't just talk about it, because we could talk about it all day and be like, yeah, I like to do this. And, oh, you like to do that? That's cool. And then we get into bed and it just don't feel right. So you have to do it. There's no way around it.
I mean, I get that. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some pushback on this. I don't give a fuck if y'all call me a simp, but if a bitch give it up too early, we're judging her. You know, we want that shit, but we like, this bitch gave it to me on the second day. She a fucking hoe. What you mean?
I'm judging her if she ain't giving it up.
Well, that's you. And I think, okay, so Lucario, do you communicate that when you're talking to people? Obviously, you are not in a strictly monogamous relationship situation. So,
yeah. It's all talked about. Like, even for women, if I go on a date and I tell her, hey, when I see you next, we're gonna hook up, we're gonna have some sex, and then she'll be like, oh, I don't know about that. And then I say, well, listen, I want to have sex when I see you next. So if you don't want to have sex, we don't need to see each other. And so either we don't see each other or she meets me and we have sex. So it's like, it's all up front. So she has a choice to make if she wants to do it.
So how did you come up with the 2-date rule or the whatever? Yeah. Like 2? What? Who said that?
Two is it? Well, one is the first date is like, or the first time you meet or whatever. It's just like, okay, we don't have to do it the first time because we're just feeling each other out. But by the time I see you again, then it's time, because we've already seen that we are interested in each other, right? This is why we're seeing each other again. So if we're seeing each other again, what are we waiting for? Doesn't make any sense.
We're waiting to make sure that everybody checks out.
Yeah. Are you doing mutual STI testing with these people?
Oh, no, I haven't done all that. No.
There's no way. You said what?
No, she asked if I'll do mutual STI testing. I'm like, no, just protect yourself and get tested on your own.
Protect yourself when you get head too?
You know, dental dam?
Nah, you could use all that if you want, but I don't be going down on girls when I'm first meet them and all that other shit. So I don't know my girl.
I don't know how we got here.
Tonight, boy.
Listen, Alan. I'm gonna let you know right now. This will, I promise you, this will last for hours. I have been in countless amount of rooms with Lucario. Countless amount of rooms with Lucario talking about this, and the women and the men keep going to question to question to question to question. I promise you, he's not lying about any of this. Right. But it will never end. Y'all want to talk about it? Talk to him in a room about it.
Exactly. We'll be on this all day.
This is funny. For me, this is funny seeing his facial expression as he's saying it, because I've heard this for almost 2 years now.
Okay. All right. AD, I know you had a question. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So here's my question. It's for the ladies. Is it or is it not? Is it appropriate or is it not appropriate to continue to contact and see a man that you have no interest in sleeping with?
It's not appropriate.
So then we would agree with what he's saying. What am I taking your number for if you're not gonna, if you know you're not gonna give it out, why? What good is your number in my phone?
But you need to realize that having sex, at least most of the women I know, it's not about just the sex. Yeah. I mean, I can just have sex with you.
For the men it is.
But I'm talking about the women.
Us though, as women.
What I'm saying is that most of us, as we have muddled through our sexual lives, whenever that started and wherever we are, we have determined what's comfortable for us. So the women that Quentin was talking about that say, I'm worried I'm giving it up too early, they have a time frame in their mind that they're okay with. Whoever that is that's judging them. But at the end of the day, they have to look in the mirror and decide what they're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody thinks about when I sleep with my man or my men, whatever that is, right? But I have to be able to justify that in my head whenever I lay down at night and look in the mirror. So if I say that to my partner, hey, I this is a little too soon for me. I'd like to wait a little bit longer, but it's there. I'm feeling you. I just have a couple things that I need to settle and get comfortable with before I move forward with you. I don't mind saying that. 2, for me, on an average basis, would be a little quick. I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, yeah, I don't need to keep dilly-dallying with you if I'm not attracted to you. I'm busy.
Right.
I gotta work.
Let me ask you a question though. So now you said you're gonna wait sometimes, but there's been instances where you didn't wait. So what is the real difference?
I didn't wait the amount of time that I was comfortable with, but that has changed over the years. That it's based on age, it's based on chemistry with that person, it's based on the nature of the relationship. But what it ultimately boils down to is how safe I feel, how protected I feel with that person.
Would it be safe to say? Would it be safe to say it's just not worth it?
You said what?
Would it be safe to say that sex with that man just wasn't worth it? Like he wasn't worth having sex with faster, therefore you didn't. Like if you met a man who you did feel safe with quickly, instantly, whatever, right? Like all the boxes were checked. Would you then still hold off if all your boxes were checked and you could tell up front?
No.
Yeah, so it sounds like that man just wasn't worth it.
It's not about words.
I don't know about words.
It's not about words.
It's also a point that he's putting a time limit on it. Like, we know when we're ready, but the fact that you're like 1, 2, we're already in bed. Like, hold on a second. Like, I have to go off your standard in order to be able to continue this.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, that exactly.
Well, why? That feels like so rushed. Women and men are not the same regarding sexual. As Ashley was saying it, for us, like some women, we have to have an emotional connection to a man. Like in 2 dates, I'm not having no emotional connection. Like, Dan, can I know your mama name first before we jump into the bed? Like,
hands down, she didn't enjoy it. She didn't enjoy it as much. So,
woman. So y'all saying every time y'all had a relationship with somebody, y'all knew all that stuff. Y'all saying every time.
I'm not saying that. I literally said that's not the case.
So if it's not the case, then you can't use that as a rule for all the times, because you have certain instances where you're gonna go like
you didn't say
one
that
day
either. She said it's
sometimes gonna be longer.
No, so the thing is that everybody just wants to put everything into a certain time frame on how quickly you should do certain things. Everybody has their own time frame on how they feel they should do it. It's going to be based off of the energy and the person that you're dealing with on a case-by-case basis. Because yes, you can meet one person and you do feel more comfortable with them. Maybe you bonded a little better. You know what I mean? Maybe the attraction is there. They just look better. Like it clicked. And then you meet somebody else that maybe you guys connected more on an intellectual level, but you guys aren't physically interested there. So nothing really even happened. But you're not going to find that out in just 2 days. You don't understand that once a woman is really comfortable with you, and if she's really feeling you, she's going to do everything that you never even thought you could even have done to you. Like, that's beyond it. So you're worried about, if the sex is going to be good and all this other stuff. That should not even be a factor if you're already into this person mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually anyway. She's going to give you everything.
But that's the thing.
But you're not going to get that into it.
That's what I'm saying. I can't be, because part of what makes me into you is the fact that you're following my lead. So what Jenna was saying is absolutely correct. You have to follow what I'm doing. And that's what it's about. It's not even about the sex. It's about, this is my standard. And if you don't follow my standard, then I don't deal with you. And that's it.
Can't you find that out in other ways besides getting her to have sex with you after 2 dates?
No, because that's my standard. So if I tell her this is what I want and she doesn't give that to me, then she is saying she doesn't want to follow it, which means she doesn't see me as that guy she wants to do that with. And therefore we don't need to be, just keep it moving.
Okay.
And then
I'm going to get this out the way because we had this conversation about a month ago with Miles, and by the end of the show of him saying all this, he said his success rate was 1. It happened like one time the whole fucking year. So it shit ain't normal.
Well, he said his success rate was 1 because he wasn't really putting in any work for that amount of time. But what happens, like, I'll say for me, I've had sex with hundreds of women. You know what I'm saying? Like,
on the hundreds of women, the second date is what I'm asking.
Yeah, first and second dates. Yeah.